So it has long been debated, who's the best championship striker of all time? Well, today we're here to find out. Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel with Mitrovic on track to break records this season, with Billy Sharp on the cusp of breaking the all-time championship goal scoring record. We've got an abundance of talent currently playing in the championship, but we are here today to rank the best championship strikers of all time. And the way I've gone ahead and done this is I've come up with a mathematical algorithm to separate the best strikers that we've ever seen at this level. So I've ranked championship strikers into the following 5 categories. Category number 1 is goals. Who are the top 10 goal scorers of all time at this level? Category number 2 is assists. Who are the providers at this level in terms of the strikers that we've seen? Category number 3 is their minutes per goal ratio, so who have been the most clinical strikers? Category number 4 are the most hat-tricks scored at this level. And category number 5 are who are the 10 championship strikers to have the best individual campaigns in terms of a goal return. For coming top of any of the 5 categories, a striker is given 10 points, and subsequently for coming 10th in any of the categories, a striker is given 1 point towards their total. The only category that I've weighted slightly differently is the hat-tricks one, where you get 5 points for coming top and 1 point for coming bottom. Each championship striker is then given 2 bonus points for every 20 goal season they've had in the championship. I hope all of this makes sense. In the end, we've got a list of 35 championship strikers to go over, and without any further ado, let's jump into it. We do have a few wacky names at the bottom of the list, I must admit. Coming in 35th place with 1 point thanks to the algorithm, we have James Vaughan. In at number 34, also picking up 1 point thanks to the algorithm, we have Dave Kitson. Never actually had a 20 goal season in the championship, but he came very close on a couple of occasions, particularly with Reading, where he scored 19 goals followed by 18 goals between 2004 and 2006. In at number 33, we have Chris Imalumo. Also never had a 20 goal season in the championship, but he picked up 1 point thanks to the algorithm. Some good years with Charlton and Wolves at this level. Luciano Becchio comes in at number 32 on the list, also with 1 point. Went very close to having a 20 goal season in the championship in 10/11 as he scored 19 championship goals. I remember him and Beckford being some partnership back in the day for Leeds. In at number 31 on the list, we have Darius Henderson, also coming in with 1 point thanks to the algorithm. And the final striker to come in with 1 point, in at 30th place, we have Dexter Blackstock, also previously of Nottingham Forest, of course. 29th on the list, we have Andre Gray coming in with 3 points thanks to the algorithm. His best season in the championship coming with Burnley in 15/16 as they were promoted, and he scored 23 league goals. 28th on the list, we have the former Sheffield Wednesday Italian Fernando Forestieri coming in with 3 points. Those 3 points are a result of him being 8th on the all-time list for assists when it comes to championship strikers. 27th on the list, also with 3 points, we have Ollie Watkins, formerly of Brentford. Expect to see a few Brentford players coming up in today's video, but that final season especially, he was absolutely prolific as he scored 25 goals. 26th on the list, also coming in with 3 points, we have Sylvan Ebanks-Blake. If you didn't get to see this guy back in the day, just go and check out a compilation of some of his best goals, because the things he could do, especially in that promotion season with Wolves in 2008, were outrageously good. 25th on the list, we have Birmingham's Lukas Djukovic, still going to this day. He picks up 3 points thanks to the algorithm and thanks to being the 8th top scorer of all time in the championship, which is quite impressive. In at number 24, we have Martin Waghorn, currently of Coventry, but his best season at this level probably coming with Ipswich. That partnership, especially between him and Joe Garner, really was something, not just in terms of goals but assists as well. That's why he's got onto the list here. He's 7th on the all-time assist list for strikers. In at number 23 on the list, we have Michael Chopra coming in with 5 points. Some very good seasons in the championship, particularly with Cardiff. 22nd on the list, we have another Brentford striker coming in with Neil Maupay, also with 5 points. Not only being one of the best strikers we've ever seen at this level, but also being one of the best wind-up merchants. 21st on the list, we have the former Sheffield United striker James Beattie coming in with 6 points. He has 1 20-goal season to his name in the championship. 20th on the list, and with 7 points, we have Lee Tomlin coming in with that point tally, thanks to him being 4th in the all-time assist tally for Championship strikers. Now, Lee Tomlin was never really sort of an out-and-out striker, more of a secondary striker who played that creative role, but a brilliant player on his day, albeit his fitness has just sort of let him down throughout his career. 19th on the list, and with 7 points, we have Chris Wood. His best season at this level coming with Leeds United in the 16/17 season, as he scored 27 goals. I think from that point onwards, the Leeds fans knew that he was going to be Premier League bound. 18th on the list, we have QPR's Charlie Austin, also coming in with 7 points. He's had several brilliant years at this level, but just one where he's hit the 20 goal mark, that coming with Burnley in the 12/13 season. 17th on the list, we have Troy Deeney coming in with 8 points, currently playing his football for Birmingham, but undoubtedly his best time in the Championship came with Watford. And when we think about probably the greatest moment of Championship history, it just is that Deeney moment, isn't it? That Deeney moment is what the Aguero moment is to the Premier League, and yeah, that will live on forever. 16th on the list, we have Kevin Phillips coming in with 8 points, probably one of the best players to have ever played at this level. Now, the reason he's as low down as 16th is because all of the data collected for today's video was collected from 2004, when the Championship was sort of rebranded the Championship, as it were. He also had some fantastic seasons in what was, formerly known as the First Division, and some cracking years in the Premier League as well, but towards the later stage of his career came back to the Championship and still did the business. I remember him coming to Blackpool under Ian Holloway. Crystal Palace, he obviously scored that penalty in the playoff final to send them up as well. He's just an elite player, isn't he? 15th on the list, we have someone still doing the business in the Championship today. We have Lewis Grabban coming in with 10 points. He's had a bit of a resurgence since Steve Cooper's come in there at Nottingham Forest. I think that a few Forest fans, and probably myself included, thought that he was sort of dwindling out and his powers were waning, but some seriously big goals for Forest so far this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if he moves a little bit further up this list come the end of the season. 14th on the list, and coming in with 10 points, we have Adam Armstrong, previously of Blackburn. Those final 2 seasons especially were fantastic by his standards. 28 goals last season, 16 the season before that. 13th on the list with 10 points, we have Ricky Lambert, formerly of Southampton. Arguably one of the players who's had the best sort of individual seasons at this level. 27 goals he scored in that 11/12 season, as well as a bunch of assists. 12th on the list, we have Tammy Abraham coming in with 11 points. He was a Premier League striker playing in the Championship in both of his loan spells. At Bristol City he was fantastic, at Aston Villa he was even better. 11th place, we have Glenn Murray coming in with 14 points, a player who previously held the record for the most goals scored in the Championship season, with 30 for Crystal Palace in the 12/13 season, before Ivan Toney broke it last season, and Mitrovic is probably on the break at this season as well. Chris Martin comes in as number 10 on the list with 15 points, and probably a striker who has gone maybe a little bit underappreciated from the rest of the Championship in the past decade or so, because consistently for Derby throughout the years when they were sort of battling it out in and around the playoffs, Chris Martin was doing the business for them. Even now with Bristol City, he's been a fantastic player for them, not just for goals but assists as well. His overall game, yeah, always really liked Chris Martin, to be fair. Coming in 9th place, also with 15 points, we have Jordan Rhodes, still playing in the Championship for Huddersfield, but undoubtedly his peak coming with Huddersfield and then Blackburn. Now, in terms of the peak of a player, Jordan Rhodes is arguably number 1 on this list, and had he left the Championship when he left Blackburn, he probably would be significantly higher up on this list. He's just hindered by the fact that he slipped down on a couple of the categories because his levels have dropped in recent years. He's 19th on the list now for goals to game ratio. That would have been significantly higher during his years at Blackburn. And those Blackburn years were outrageously good, 3 consecutive seasons hitting 20 goals in the Championship, 85 goals in 169 appearances. He was as close to guaranteed goals as you could get at one point. It's just that injuries seem to slow him down, and since leaving Blackburn, he's never quite been the same player. 8th on the list, we then go for Daryl Murphy, who, another one similar to Chris Martin, maybe a little bit of an underrated striker of the Championship of the last decade or so, but he comes in with 16 points thanks to the algorithm. He's done quite well there. In 7th place, coming in with 17 points, we have Dwight Gale. Now, by no means does Dwight Gale have the longevity of some of the other strikers that we've discussed so far, but for the time that he played in the Championship, he was something else. He's 3rd on the minutes per goal ratio. He's had 2 20-goal seasons in the Championship. Those seasons at Newcastle and West Brom were absolutely ridiculously clinical. In at 6th on the list with 19 points, we then have Billy Sharp, who has the chance to become the Championship's all-time top scorer in the next few games. Against my side, Preston North End, he equalled David Nugent's record of 121 goals thanks to him putting that goal away from the penalty spot. I don't think that anyone's in any doubt that he will go on and break that record, and should he go ahead and do that, that may, go ahead and bump him up a place on this list as well. But what is interesting and I find quite surprising is that he's only had one 20-goal season in the Championship. He's had a lot of other sort of 15s and around that point. 5th on the list with 19 points, we have Norwich's Teemu Pukki. I'm sure that Norwich fans expect to see Pukki in and around the top 5, and understandably so, for 2 ridiculously clinical seasons in the Championship, both of which ended in promotion. 29 goals followed by a 26-goal season is just elite numbers for this level. Speaking of elite numbers, Alexander Mitrovic comes in 4th on today's list with 19 points thanks to the algorithm. I mean, the guy scored 27 goals in 24 appearances this season. If he continues at his current rate between now and the end of the season, then he will be bumped up a couple places on the algorithm by the end of the season, but currently he finds himself in at that number 4 spot. He's got the best goals to minute ratio in terms of any Championship striker, and he's on the way to breaking Ivan Toney's record that he set last season. Speaking of Ivan Toney though, he just pips Mitrovic to that 3rd spot, coming in with 21 points thanks to the algorithm. And a main contributing factor to this is the fact that he was given 10 points because he currently holds the record for the most goals scored in a Championship season. That's where 10 of his 21 points have come from. But let's not let the fact that Mitrovic is doing so well this season diminish just how unbelievable Ivan Toney was last season. He's got the 2nd best goals to minute ratio in Championship history, just behind Mitrovic, and he's now doing the business in the Premier League. Coming in 2nd place and just missing out on the number 1 spot, we then have David Nugent coming in with 22 points. Thanks to the algorithm. Obviously, he's currently leading the way along with Billy Sharp for being the Championship's all-time top scorer with 121 goals. But what just gives him the edge over some of the other strikers around him is the amount of assists that he's managed to pick up throughout his career. He's currently leading the way on the all-time list for assists when it comes to Championship strikers. That packaged in with 121 Championship goals gets him to number 2 on today's list. But claiming the number 1 spot with a whopping 33 points thanks to the algorithm, we have Ross McCormack, who is being judged by the maths that we've done today as the best ever Championship striker. And the more I thought of it, the more that this one kind of made sense. I'm not sure if I go as far to say that he's, the best striker to ever play at this level, but probably the most well-rounded in terms of everything that he offered. He came, in the top 5 of so many of these different categories. In terms of the all-time scoring list, he's 3rd. In terms of the all-time assists, he's 2nd. He's 4th on the list in terms of the all-time top scoring in a single season. And to go along with that, he's had 3 separate 20-goal seasons, which have all come with different Championship clubs. Things obviously turned sour after he made that move over to Aston Villa, and from then he was never really the same player, but the player he was at Leeds and Fulham especially, he was just a cut above in terms of the range of goals he'd score, the numbers that he put up, the assists he'd take as well. I can't have any complaints about Ross McCormack being number 1. There we have it though, guys. That's what the numbers are telling us, but what I'm really interested to know is what you guys think. Who would be in your top 5 Championship strikers of all time? Let me know down below. Apart from that though, guys, that will wrap it up for today's video. As always, if you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like and do stick around and subscribe for some regular Championship content. Apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.